and on the document section, I see the RFE uploaded, and I was shook. RFE document was uploaded on my portal on May 11th.
In 2020, I did something because of which I almost got deported out of the US. I made a big mistake on my STEM application. I made two big mistakes. First, I applied for STEM too late. And second, I missed a checkbox on my STEM application, due to which USCIS denied my STEM application. I did not have enough time to apply for STEM again before my OPT was expiring. Luckily, that year my H1B got picked up. I was still shivering, I was still freaking out, reaching out to HR, reading about it, reaching out to a lawyer to figure out what to do in this case, where I have this 3 months of gap. And just to let you know, my H1B application was not approved up until now. Luckily, H1B application got approved. I did get the visa and I didn't have to worry about it because I had the gap visa between OPT and H1B. But Jigar had a oh shit moment like this as well. Jigar studied at Texas A&M, and recently he reached out to me to explain what happened when he got a RFE. You won't believe what he got the RFE for and how he overcame that within a week of time. This is important video for all of you who's applying for either OPT or STEM extension this year, and why sometimes it would make more sense to apply early and also pay for premium processing when it comes to USCIS. Watch this video until the end to understand the whole process and why he got the RFE. Let's just hear from Jigar.
No, I have been working for a year now. So yeah, I was applying for my STEM OPT and then things just happened out of my control. Apparently, a lot of students have been facing this problem. So I thought, why not, be a resource for the students to be, My OPT was about to expire on June 4th, right? So I knew the USCIS processing times were pretty long these days. So as soon as I, entered my 90-day window to apply, I submitted my application. Around, end of April, which was like a couple months later, received a decision. So I was like, okay, my OPT expires in a month. And I watched your video that, if you get a denial and your OPT has already expired, there is no way to reapply. So I was constantly, contemplating, what if I get an RFE? What if something is wrong with my application? What if something happens? So I paid for premium processing around end of April, first week of May. Yeah, end of April.
So in STEM OPT also you can pay for premium processing?
Yes, I think they started it from last year.
How much is the premium processing amount?
So it is $1,685 right now.
As compared to $500, right?
So on top of that, so you already pay the $410, the regular filing fee, and on top of that you pay $1,685 for premium. So it goes over $2,000.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and I was hearing mixed opinions about it. Like my friends were like, "You're being paranoid. Don't pay so much money. It will get approved. Ours got approved, and so forth." But back of the mind, I always had it like, I want my decision before June 4th. So I went ahead, applied for my premium processing. A week later, I received a notification from USCIS that we have taken an action on your case. I was like, okay, great. I might have received an approval in a week. I log in and they say we have sent you a request for evidence. You will get a letter in your mailbox soon. And if you don't receive the letter within 2 weeks, only then reach out to us that you've not received the letter. And there was nothing on my portal about what they wanted, right? So I was like, okay. I kept checking my application again and again. I went through your video just to make sure I have applied for the correct category of work authorization. That looked accurate to me. I asked my friend for his application and he sent his entire application form to me. So I compared everything, like one to one. Everything looked correct. And there were only two things that I was, able to pinpoint that. On my passport photograph, one of my ear was slightly not visible. So I was like, okay, this could be it. Maybe they'll just ask for a new photo. And I was like, okay. And on the address line, when you are, submitting your addresses, the portal automatically suggests you an address that, okay, this is how you are registered on USPS. So do you want to use this? And we typically end up, selecting yes because we are like, okay, this is how they want it. So I thought there might be either one of those two things, either the photograph or the address. Everything else looked correct. And a couple of days later, I was, going through my model, and on the document section, I see the RFE uploaded, and I was shook. Basically, USCIS requested that, hey, you have graduated from a degree that's called construction management, right? Which is a Master of Science in Construction Management. And it is assigned a STEM code 15.1001. And we don't see a correlation. So give us a documentation that your degree is actually a STEM degree. And I was like, this is so weird. And when I went to, Reddit and Facebook, apparently this has become like a very common issue these days. USCIS is scrutinizing this on a, frequent basis now. If there is a mismatch in your degree name and your major that is listed on your I-20, they want documentation. Yeah, and it is also like unfortunately, because my course has been a STEM course since 5 years. There have been more than 500 students who have graduated. No one has received this ever.
Yeah.
It took a couple of days to, process it and, what to do about this. I reached out to my DSO and she was like, our course is a STEM course. I'll give you a letter. And the letter was, like a very generic letter that construction management is a STEM course. The student is eligible for STEM extension. Please approve his request. And I was like, I don't think this is going to do it. And I spoke with a lawyer and got some, opinion and started doing my research on how to, resolve this. And there are a couple resources that I came across which students typically don't know. And that is the first place where, they should usually start looking for. So okay, so here's the example of what happened. So my degree was called, construction management, right? As it states. For this code, the STEM code is called construction engineering technology.
Okay.
So for construction management, there are only 2 or 3 STEM codes, but all over the US, we have different names. We have construction management technology, we have construction engineering management, we have construction management, we have construction science, and so forth.
Yeah.
Right. It's a problem that it is not being made uniform, but
Right.
it is.
This is odd though. This is the first time I'm hearing about it also.
Oh, I know. And it is very common, especially for STEM MBAs, because it is registered as management science, but it is called Masters of Business Administration though. So a lot of MBA students have also been receiving this. So the one such resource that I found across is every university has a registrar's page where you have an approved program inventory that is approved by the local state education board. Every state has an education board who approves changes in STEM code, approval in STEM code, and so forth. And that program inventory is always uploaded on university's website. Might need a little of effort to dig around on where that program inventory is located, but it should be out there. If the university, so this is what the program inventory. So in my case, it was Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, THECB. So they're clearly stating that the Department of Construction Science has an MS in construction management, which has this code, 15.1001. That was one piece of evidence that I started putting together. The RFE still specifically requested an official statement from my university, right?
Yeah.
Talked to my DSO. She eventually reached out to my department head and the dean of our department, and they provided me with a joint letter that, hey, this course initially was not a STEM course. In 2019, we went through an approval process when its CIP code was changed to make this course a STEM course. This course has XYZ requirements, which is why it qualifies as STEM, and it is also accredited by ACCE and so forth. So basically, justification that this is a STEM. So fortunately, I got that letter as well. And one other document that students might not be aware of is whenever a course goes through, a change of a STEM code or the CIP code or whatever, the local state education board provides an approval notice that as of this date or moving forward, this course will be a STEM course.
Got
So
it.
in anyone receives such an RFE, make sure to ask for that approval notice to your university. In my case, again, I went. So again, some universities don't have the course inventory uploaded on their website. So other place where you can go to is go to the education board's website directly, right? So I went to the Texas Education Board's website, selected, public universities here, selected Texas A&M University from here, and the education board also has an approved inventory uploaded on their website.
Awesome. Hmm.
These are the resources which are already out there. So it's just you need to do a little bit of digging. I gathered all of this, and last step was no one knew how to respond to the RFE. Should you mail it to them? Should you just upload it on the portal? Should you just, upload all the evidences as it is? And in my case, after accumulating everything, it was my response was like 20, 22 pages. Right. So always make sure to write a very, professional cover letter before all of your documents. Write to the USCIS officer that, hey, I'm writing this letter as a response to the RFE. Below are the evidences that I'm providing for the RFE. If you still have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on XYZ email address or my DSO on XYZ email address. And create a table that lists all the documents and, summarizes in brief that document 1, program inventory approved by XYZ Education Board. Document number 2, letter from department dean and department head confirming that this course is a STEM course. So we try to make it easier for the USCIS officer before they start digging through those 20 pages.
Let's look at the timeline, right? Your OPT was gonna get over when?
So my OPT was going to expire on June 4th.
And when did you receive the RFE?
I received a notification about the RFE on May 8th, but the RFE document was uploaded on my portal on May 11th. So it took a couple of days for my USCIS portal to get updated. So those
That
three,
is when you applied for premium processing.
yes.
Imagine if you didn't apply for premium processing, like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it took like a week or a little over a week to go back and forth with my university and gather all of these evidences. And I uploaded everything on the USCIS portal as a response to my RFE on May 23rd. And I still did not hear anything before June 4th. Like I received my approval on June 11th.
oh wow. Even with the premium processing, still like, because the case would still be addressed under premium processing, right? Because it's the same case. Wow, that is a
What
long time.
happened? So premium processing guarantee and 30 business days.
Hmm.
But if you get an RFE and you respond to the RFE, your clock resets to 0 and then they count 30 days from there on. It's definitely scary, but my only advice is, do not panic. Like if you've not done anything wrong, like if you have enough documentation, things will get approved. It's just, like bump on the road, but rather than, just panicking and, going here and there, like,
Yeah,
take a couple, process it, make a strategy on what all do you need to do and start reaching out to the correct people. Do not directly email the dean. They're not going to respond.
yeah.
Right? Not email the department head or admissions office. They're not going to respond. So go through a channel today, ask your DSO.
DSO is the best person to.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I got an email recently or an Instagram message where uh, a person reached out like, "Hey, I think I worked a certain number of hours. I worked more than 40 hours during my CPT, and now my company is voiding my employment and they're throwing me out because I worked more than 40 hours and I was not supposed to because again CPT. Um, and he's like, I'm scared. I shouldn't be talking to my DSO about it. What if I get deported? I'm like, your DSO is there to help you out in these situations.
Exactly.
They are the only one who can help you out really and figure out next steps. And it got resolved within like a day as soon as he reached out to DSO.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you reaching out again and letting us.
Absolutely.
Um, Congrats again. STEM's gone through. Hopefully, you
Yeah.
H1B picked up right. You still have two chances, so good
Mhm.
luck with that.
Feel free to include, my LinkedIn or anything if anyone ever wants to, reach out. I'm more than willing to help if
Okay,
assist.
that is awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Jigar.
Well, thanks, Parth. It was nice.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you again, man. Take care.